I'm Ashley. I'm one of the co-founders of Beta Change, and today joining us, I am so excited to have Komal, who is TheDiabeticDoc on Instagram and is living in India at the moment. So she's going to be joining us and talking all about things diabetes advocacy, her interesting diabetes diagnosis story, and as well, we're going to be talking a little bit about the World Patient Safety Day coming up in a couple of days' time. So welcome, Komal.
Hello, hi Ashley.
Thanks so much for joining us again. So first things first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am Komal and Ashley. I am a medical doctor today, but obviously I wasn't always. And so it has been there in my family since a long time when I got diagnosed. After that, there was a decision to become a doctor because obviously not just to take care of myself, but also to give back to the community in a way. Today I'm a doctor. I have done my specialization again in the field of public health, which in India is called as community medicine. I have done my MD in that, and I'm working. So being able to bring a policy change at first at my national level, and then think about the world there. Because in India,
Fantastic.
even the Minisode is dedicated to that living with diabetes in India and how it is different from that in the rest of the world.
Fantastic. Thanks. So we actually met in January this year. So it feels like forever ago now, but it's only been a few months. So tell us, met through the Medtronic Bakken Invitation Award. So tell us, how did you get involved with all of that?
Okay, so I'm sure because a few people already know what Bakken is. Earl Bakken, the founder of Medtronic Foundation, and it was really kind of a successful person like him to think about people who have been living with chronic illnesses, have been doing good for themselves, giving back to the community. This was an honor which even I hadn't heard about. Last year, around the month of June, I got an email from one of my mentors, Dr. Ratna Devi. She mentioned it to me. I filled it up. That I have been doing. I never thought, there is actually there an organization which is sitting there to felicitate people like that. If you remember, actually, the day when we walked into that hall at the prize ceremony, when we walked in, there was a beautiful band of Hawaiian over there, and then they were all clapping for us, including the CEO and everyone. That moment was when I felt, okay, what I have been doing all my life. It is a constant battle. When it comes to a chronic illness, you are always having a constant battle, day in, day out, sleeping. Sometimes you're wondering how are you going to be waking up, the 2 a.m. hypos, feeling helpless at times. And those are such constant battles only a person who has lived with a chronic illness, like you and I or our loved ones know about it. The day when we entered that hall and there were so many people who were waiting in there and they were actually applauding us. That is the moment I really felt, oh my God, someone actually, they not just appreciate this, but we are being honored. We all were being honored. We were 12 people who were called over there. It was very kind of them to appreciate this work. So I don't know what exactly was out of my work that made this happen, but I could say in 2016 when the World Health Day theme for 7th World Health Day on 7th April. So every year WHO has a theme. The year 2016 had the theme of beat diabetes, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do a video for IFMSA, International Federation of Medical Students Association. That video went viral like crazy. I mean, I thought just like people who I know around 300 to 500 people would watch it, but to my surprise, within a day it had crossed 1,000 views.
Wow.
Till today, it is being watched by people. That is the day I realized what is the power of giving back. Because not just it received those hits, those likes on YouTube, I received a number of messages on Facebook and on my social media, the YouTube comment section, and people who've been thankful. And they told me there were few of them said that you give me hope, and that made me feel good. That is the day when I realized, okay, this works well. Next year, I was traveling to Geneva to work on a draft of patient advocacy, a global advocacy agenda for people living with NCDs. This was done by NCD Alliance for the UN, and I believe that it was approved in September 2018 at the third high-level meeting of United Nations. So probably because of all of this work that I've been doing in India, and honestly, to get an honor like that, I don't believe you need to do these big short things. whoever's watching it, even if you start at your local level, even if you are in a small rural village in whichever country you are in, or you do it in your friend circle, wherever you do, you're a patient advocate and you will be honored in some way or the other. So don't think about that you want to go like, to Geneva only. I started it at a personal level when I was talking to my friends, my juniors. When I was in final year MBBS, my first year MBBS teacher, anatomy head of the department called me and said, "Oh, in first year MBBS, there are these two children, who are diagnosed with diabetes. Why don't you talk to them?" So if you tell me, this is
Fantastic.
how it started. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Bakken for me was a way to not just get the honor, but meet a lovely, wonderful people like you all. Ashley, there was Candace, there was George, there was so many people, Joanna, 12 of us, and that made me realize, okay, I'm not alone. There's so many people in the world, and amazing stuff is happening. I got to learn,
Yeah.
and it was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic to get the validation, I think, of what we're doing, because,
Yeah.
giving back to the community is so important, but also learning how to give back to the community as well. And also all the things that you've said, it starts from your local community. It starts from sharing your story. And, we talked about the power of sharing stories, and that's so important. So well
Yes.
done. You've done some amazing work, which is fantastic. But tell us, let's take it back a little bit further. And where did it all start? I know you've got a very interesting diabetes diagnosis story. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So the story, I don't know how to tell this, but I'll try to be as short as possible. At the age of 13, I always had this history from my mother's side of the family of having diabetes. There were some tests done at the age of 13. Probably, I had absolutely, trust me, a 13-year-old girl has no idea what diabetes is. It was something that had come in the science textbooks of 7th standard, but it was just read in one line what it meant. There was a definition given, and that was it. When I saw that red mark on my report card, that was the first time I realized, okay, there's something not normal. And I mean, it was, I don't know, it was actually innocent for the 13-year-old girl back then, that she thought, okay, it is fine. Back, and I started reading my biology because I had my exam coming up next week. I remember my mother was sad and she had gone inside the bedroom. She was really at that moment. And to me, that girl, 13-year-old me, was thinking, okay, so what? It's a red mark. I mean, I'll take medicines and I'll be back normal again. Because, that time I thought it's just like some cold, some fever, something that is there for a while, and then you take the medicine and you're back to normal. The concept of a chronic disease had yet not struck me, and at that same age, at the same time, this such an illness had actually struck me. So then my mother told me, "Hey, it is going to be there for long," and then she gave me all the restrictions. So I said, "Okay, fine, I will not have sweets." She said, "No, darling, it's not just sweets. You cannot have rice." I said, "Oh my God, I love this particular type of rice we make in India called khichdi. We mix
Yeah.
dal and rice and make this khichdi, and it was my favorite." They said, "No, you cannot even have potato." I'm like, "My God, I love potato." And she kept on naming so many things, like, you cannot eat this and that, and sabudana and this and that. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? I am not going to be able to have most of the things that I have enjoyed. Still, somewhere or the other, I was able to bring my blood sugar level back to normal, I think, in 2 or 3 months. So things were going on, and I was living, you have to drink this, and at 10 o'clock in the morning, you have to eat. While sleeping, you have to have a glass of milk, only cow's milk, no buffalo milk, and so many restrictions. So for
Yeah.
about 4 or 5 years, life went on like that, and it was all full of restrictions. There was one day, actually, I realized what I am living is like, a by the book kind of life.
Yeah.
When you say life, when you say living, you cannot live it as per rules. I was not being happy. I was doing it and I was like, yeah, like, as if I'm getting some marks in some school project or some exam. So life
Yeah.
had become an exam where, every 3 months the blood test is done and the number has to come to normal. It was going crazy. And that's the day I realized, no, I'm gonna live my life. I'm not gonna let diabetes take control of me. I'm gonna control it in a way. I need to find happiness. So that was the time I decided that I will be a doctor,
Wow.
and then I did, because I wanted to know more. MBBS was the only way I would have learned more and more about diabetes, and not just that, I wanted to be able to treat myself. And at that young teenage, I also wanted to, remove diabetes from the world, eradicate diabetes, as I would have called it
Yeah.
that time. Later on, I realized you cannot eradicate a non-communicable disease, but yeah, I did use
Yeah.
the word eradicate in my own head in those days. So yeah, then I
There you
became a
go.
doctor. I know the term. So, you always want to be as optimistic as possible. You're living with
Yeah.
something. With MBBS, medicine taught me that what is actually going on in my body and what all things happen. People around
Mm-hmm.
me, a few relatives, some of my friends, parents, uncles. I had seen worst to worst things happening. I saw amputations happening. I saw sudden cardiac arrests happening. I saw kidney problems happening, and I decided, no, I cannot let my story also get added to that. I cannot let, because I wanted to live a normal life as much as possible. I said, so my mother told me this. My grandfather, her father used to say, I was four when he passed away, but she would always tell me something or the other what he would say. So my maternal grandfather, Mr. Kashinath Wagh, he would say that diabetes is one condition which is in your own hands. It
Yeah.
gives you an option,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
just why
one option, there's so much you can really do to sort of, take that empowerment back and sort of make those choices as well, like you said.
makes us choices. Just before we started this, I was talking with my husband, and I realized one thing today, which I want to share through the Minnesota to the world, to the whole world. So when you know you have diabetes, that is not really the reason to feel down or depressed. Why? Diabetes leads
Mm-hmm.
to multiple conditions, which then probably may stop your life. There's neuropathy, nephropathy, retinopathy. Okay, medical words. So eye problems related to can cause blindness, kidney problems that can lead to probably you may require dialysis. Amputations may happen, but when does that happen is when your diabetes actually progresses to that level. To me, I believe diabetes is actually a warning. It is in your hands. If you keep your blood sugars level, and when I say blood sugar levels normal, it doesn't mean you're fasting and postprandial levels. It means your HbA1c. In India, actually, people do this that just one day before their blood test, they follow the proper diet, and then their blood sugar fasting and postprandial levels come normal, and then they're happy. Oh, I have a good control. But with the actual thing that they need to do is the HbA1c levels. There's
Yeah.
very little awareness in my country, including even other countries which are in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
That's crazy.
one thing that we need to work in the country. So
Yeah.
when you
So
have
tell us.
diabetes, you have a warning. You have the choice to take care of yourself and not let it to progress to a level that you may develop those complications. So don't
Mm-hmm.
take diabetes as a disease. It's a warning. It's a window for you to take care of yourself better and not
Yeah,
land up with these
absolutely.
things.
It's
That's what I
definitely
would
all
say.
about the risk reduction, isn't it? Like there's so much you can do,
Yes,
and it's all about those early screening and things like that. But we talked about the
true.
cost of living with diabetes as well in India, particularly. Can you tell us a bit more? Because we talked a little bit about the challenges of living with diabetes in India, and particularly the out-of-pocket costs and things like that. Do you want to touch a little bit
Hmm.
on that as well?
So when it comes to India, when we talk about diabetes or any other chronic illness, unfortunately, my countrymen have an less fortunate way of looking at people with chronic illnesses. That's why many of them, when they get diagnosed, they don't come out with their stories.
Mm-hmm.
Stigma is something which really needs to be reduced. Today, you may say, like, people may be talking, almost every other third person is getting diabetes, but then how do you treat that person then?
Mm-hmm.
These two things are often different. Uh, if I may use this platform, I share a story today of a patient. What had happened was this woman, she got diagnosed at a younger age with diabetes. Just like any other diabetic with less awareness, with less knowledge, less access, she wasn't really taking good care of herself. She was of a marriageable age, and she and her family, the woman and her family, hid it from the boy's groom side.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, because after getting married, she was not really going to any doctor, she was not taking any medications. She landed up with a very, very bad control. I think her HbA1c, if I remember, was between 9 to 10. No, sorry, it was above 9. On top of that, when this female got pregnant, she was not going to the doctor. As we all know, that a poor HbA1c, what it can cause, it led to problems with the baby.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about this, the world, even today, even in Indian population, people will be like, oh, she hid it from the groom side. But I ask the question, why did she have to hide? Why wasn't the society in India open enough to accept that she could have a chronic condition? Today we talk about
Yeah.
diabetes. There is epilepsy, there is mental illness, there's depression, there's so many NCDs. Why do people have to lie? Why do when they go for admissions, why do they Why are they scared of taking it off? Why isn't there any insurance in this country that is giving insurance to people with chronic conditions? As soon as you
Yeah.
tick mark that I have a chronic condition like diabetes, hypertension, they say, oh, sorry, we cannot give you insurance. Why? Don't you know that these are the same people who need it more? So
Yeah.
India really needs to change its perspective towards people. We need to bring in a big change because this is to my countrymen. We all have people with diabetes or any other chronic condition in our family. We all need this, and we need to do it for ourselves. There is not even a single minister, even in the government. There is nobody who doesn't have somebody with a chronic illness in their own family. This is not for people. This is for us because everybody, we make the country, and we want it to be as flourishing as possible.
Absolutely. And it's not just, about the insurance, having a tick. I think it's about people are scared of the blame that comes with chronic condition. They get blamed. They feel they're going to blame for judge because their A1C is, above target. And they're like, oh, that thing happened. And then people are going to blame them. It's because you have diabetes, that's happened. It's all your fault. But you know what? And this, you've touched on this as well. It's just something you live with, and you have the power to change that, making choices and things like that, and getting screenings done. And so
Absolutely.
it's important to challenge that stigma, because when the blame comes out, people are going to go into hiding.
That's
so
true.
Tell us more about, I know you've got a little project coming up as well, and you're going to tie this in with, our very first World Patient Safety Day. Can you tell us a little bit more about those couple of things that are coming up on your radar?
So since it is yet to be launched, I would try to stay as discreet as possible. So for the first time, I'm talking through beta change to the world now today that yes, I will be launching something. This would be my dream project. In as short a sweet way as possible, it will be something that can be accessed by anybody in the whole world, and it will be a combination of medical knowledge and lived experiences. If we look at awareness regarding NCDs, non-communicable diseases, diabetes, any other NCD, you either have people who talk about the medical knowledge related with it and how to be taking care of it from the medical perspective, or you have people talking from the patient perspective. By God's blessings, I have been able to be on both sides. My decision to become a doctor was to cross the bridge of being patient from doctor, D for diabetic to D for doctor. That's actually my life story. I am proud of it. I do pat myself for that. So you have to be, you have to give yourself credits for all these things. That's how life goes on. So as we're talking about this, sorry, where were we?
Oh, we're just talking about your story and sort of,
Yeah.
let's talk about the World Patient Safety Day, because that's
So
coming up on the 17th of September.
we were talking about this project. Yeah. So this will be a combination of the medical knowledge and the patient's lived experiences, and it will be giving a combination to people of both because that's what people need to see. Both sides are right.
That's it.
From one side, the other one looks wrong, and you need a combination of both. So yeah, the new project that I will be working on will be on that.
That's so exciting. And I think that also kind of ties into sort of the World Patient Safety Day, because we were talking about patient safety for both the person who is receiving treatment, but also for the healthcare provider as well. So do you want to tell us more about what are you doing for World Patient Safety Day? Because we know this is the first one, and there's so much work that's been done to actually get WHO to recognize this. So yeah, tell us some more about that.
Yeah, so very few people would know there is something called as patient advocacy in the first place. Patient advocacy, as you already, the subscribers of Beta Change would already know that because of all the great work that Ashley and her partners have been doing. World Patient Safety Day, it has been declared for the first time. A number of efforts for many years by patient advocacy groups has been going on, and this is the first time that it has been declared. So 17th of September, the coming Tuesday, is World Patient Safety Day. Now the question comes that what is World Patient Safety Day? What patient safety? Aren't we safe? I would say yes, you are safe, but not in all ways because there are various levels to it. I would refrain myself from talking into details because this is the first time that it has been released, and yeah, we yet have to see what WHO is looking at it from what perspective. When I tell you about World Patient Safety Day, since I believe I will be talking mainly to the patient group through beta change, I would say that your safety first comes into your hands. It is up to you. Keep yourself updated. What you are doing, what medications you are taking. When you talk about safety, it is what medicines you are taking. In India, we have a thing of going to multiple doctors. We tried a little bit of allopathy. Oh, this Ayurvedic doctor is also good. Let's try Ayurveda also. But sometimes the combination of this allopathy and Ayurveda actually can be disastrous for you. I know that because a few years ago, not few, many years ago, about almost a decade ago, I have lost a very close relative, my aunt, to this. She had
Mhm.
cancer, and I know that her cancer was pretty much, they told us that it is gone, the hysterectomy was done, she was good, and then so somebody said she opted for an ayurveda treatment when the allopathic treatments were still going on. So sometimes, the combination of these actually can be very fatal. We unfortunately
Yeah.
lost her within a year after that. Why I'm giving you the story is because I'm trying to tell you a lived experience. Today, I'm not being a doctor, I'm being a patient. So your safety
Mhm.
is in your own hands when it comes to medicines, the surgical safety, so many other things. In India, now this I would say from the doctor's perspective. In India,
Mhm.
unfortunately, my dear people, there has been a new trend that a particular treatment doesn't go well, let's go beat up the doctor. No. I have myself lost my mother to a hospital acquired infection last year in 2018. So, if me, myself being a doctor and then a patient with all my frustration, if I had to, I too would have blamed the hospital. That my mother, who was doing well, passed away from a hospital acquired infection. I did not do that because I knew what was her condition, what were her morbidities, what were her chances. When you get admitted, you are at risk. And at that time, beating up the doctor to take out your frustration is not the way. Why I talk about this in terms of in context of patient safety today? Because my dear countrymen of India, when you talk about patient safety, please don't take it as a reason that WHO has declared the World Patient Safety Day. So, patient safety, so let's go beat up the doctor. No, the doctor also is a human being first. He is also a patient first. When he is treating you, he himself is putting himself at risk of so many infections. When he draws your blood, when he puts it back into the cap, he has a risk of getting a needle prick. And needle prick, my dear people, has a risk of giving you something as you know as HIV/AIDS also. Not just that, hepatitis B. So many things are there. If you as a patient have a risk of hospital-acquired infection by being there for what 7-8 days, that person is going to be there for his whole life. That's what a doctor sacrifices. He sacrifices youth to be there, and when he's there, please don't see it as he is, on the opposite side. He is there for your own safety. At the same time, you think about him also. In the end, I would say this one thing. When in community medicine and public health, we nowadays have a health team concept. When we say that, different specializations, different specialists need not act differently. It has to be a team concept. So, like
Yeah.
say a surgeon and nephrologist, everybody has to act together in a team.
Mhm.
Um, to all the patients all over the world, I say even you are a part of this team.
Mhm.
You have the right to take informed decisions. Do that, and your relatives are the same. So probably what we need to do is change the perspective.
Mhm.
The first World Patient Safety Day, everybody is wondering what is it, what is it, what is it, and everybody is proposing their own perspectives. My perspective on this is that for your own safety, get on board, get access. There's so many websites. There's Beta Change. There's so many others. WHO has so much campaign material going on around. Get yourself updated, but not with Google. Don't Google it out. Talk to your doctors. Become a doctor yourself. If not a doctor, what I did, become a doctor yourself or get a good degree in something. Talk to people. Yes, don't Google it out. Don't go on web what is out there. But know what is going on. Come on the team for your own self. Take informed decisions. You have the right to it. And when you talk to the doctor, he is spending his time so much. I will tell you, when a doctor has an emergency service for a day, he works continuously for 30 hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
in India, 24 hours he's
Mm.
up, and then morning 8 o'clock his emergency service starts. He is still the next day 8 a.m. again on duty. Then again for the post emerge admissions and all and the rounds, he takes another
Mhm.
6 hours, which makes it 30 hours at a stretch.
That's
Even if he
crazy.
gets to nap, it is hardly for 2 hours or something. Is that sufficient? Is that human? So when you talk
Yeah.
about a doctor, he also is a patient. And when it comes to the first World Patient Safety Day, myself, I would say this to you: make it a team concept. Look at
Mhm.
everybody and don't try to blame it on just one person.
Yeah, and it's absolutely true. I mean, like, particularly when we talk about safety for doctors and safety for healthcare providers, working so many hours straight, like, is that actually safe? Can they make rational
Yeah.
decisions being so tired and things like that? But I think the other point you make as well is also, being patient first and, getting patient empowerment. So getting, people living with different conditions and stuff, searching for credible information, whether that be online, whether through, clinicians, understanding what is credible information and then taking that and discussing that with their doctor. I think that's really, really a great step. And sort of the doctor saying, okay, well, what have you got for me? Let's talk about it rather than say, no, I'm not going to listen to you kind of thing. So yes, so many things to talk about and we'll put in
Yeah.
as well.
I mean, to be honest, with all those who are watching this with a non-communicable disease, how many of you actually are taking care of yourself when the doctor is telling you to manage your diabetic diet? Are you really doing that? I'm
Yeah.
asking
So
this to the audience. Are you really following that? Then, if something goes wrong after so many years, do your children actually have the right to beat up the doctor on call? That's the one question I would
no,
ask to the audience. Yes,
no one
it is in
has
your
any right
hands.
to beat up
That's what, for me, I take it as a blessing in disguise. If I would have not gotten diagnosed with diabetes at the age of 13, I would have just had my own fun,
you.
not been able to take care of myself, and probably would have landed up with a much bigger problem by the age of 30 or so.
Yeah, it is a bit of a blessing in disguise when you think about it, isn't it? So
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for, I'm just conscious of time. Thank you so much for spending time out today and talking to us about all the things that you're doing and the things that you're planning to do, which is fantastic. So we'll finish up by maybe you telling us how we can follow your different adventures coming up or your different ventures, your new projects. How do we get updates?
All right. So, first update should be about 1 or 2 weeks from now, the launch, what I'm planning. Till now, you can follow my Instagram page, The Diabetic Doc. And as my name has been clearly mentioned on the Beta Change event, Komal Kanetkar, you can even follow my Facebook page. It's not a page, it's my account, but yes, you can follow me there as well. I am active on social media. You can watch what I have been doing and yeah, keep yourself updated because yes, it has been my dream project what I'm about to launch and it will be out soon. In the end, I would like obviously the thanks to Beta Change, obviously, but yes, I would really like to commend Ashley and her partners for this amazing work. I have been seeing the website Beta Change, the minisodes that you've been doing, connecting people from all over the world, showing people how it is everywhere. And a huge round of applause for you guys out there for doing this work. Guys, I would say this: I'm not a type 1 diabetic. Living with type 1 diabetes is a altogether new, challenge in itself. And those who do it, I see them as heroes. I don't know how I would have managed it. I have to what I do with Modi. I was diagnosed with Modi, maturity onset diabetes of young, which is a very different kind of condition. By God's grace, it gets managed with oral hypoglycemic agents. Yet I have not been requiring insulin yet. Challenges are of hypos are still there, but what people with type 1 diabetes do, the way they manage themselves, the way they have to actually, literally measure what they have to eat and how they have to manage themselves. I mean, you guys are amazing. Beta Change, Ashley, you all, huge round of applause to you guys. Thank
Thank
you.
you. That means so much. It's so nice to hear that. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story again. We'll share all the links down on the bottom of our Facebook of this video. So anyone who wants to follow up on some of Kamal's work, you can absolutely follow her. And then we look forward to seeing your new website launch. That's so exciting. And also everyone get involved with World Patient Safety Day. It's on the 17th of September. And until our next minisode, we want to thank you all for watching. Feel free to post your questions down the bottom if you're watching this later on, and we will get in touch. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks, Kamal.
Thank you.